Rugby Australia, the landscape's pretty tough. I was talking to Phil the other day about some of the issues, but we're going through a lot of, you talk about transition, there's going to be a lot of change, I think, as a result of what we're going through at the moment. But certainly some of the topics that we're talking about right now, I mean, the transitioning, I think that's a critical one that Sam mentioned before. It is like a game. I think I do a lot of work in leadership. My background's in performance psychology and sociology. So obviously I've incorporated a lot of those principles into my work, both as a coach and now as a facilitator around the high performance area. But certainly impressing upon the player that, you know, life as a professional rugby player isn't the end. And it's very hard to convince a player that's 18, 19 that, you know, debuts at Super Rugby level. I'm sure Sam can testify to this. It's very hard to convince a player to look long term and look past their career. So, you know, without going into tin tacks, I developed a leadership model and program. There's 13 modules in it. Takes 26 weeks. Every person that comes in, every player that comes in the intake into the academy has to go through it. And we do talk about, you know, life skills, the tools for life post-career. Are they thinking that? No, but certainly I've had a lot of players that have gone past the academy and graduated into pro footy and then gone into real life and actually recognised 10 years past that some of the lessons that we were teaching and some of the tools we've provided actually work. So there are light bulb moments. Inside the leadership program, we don't talk too much about, you know, them or wanting them to understand exactly what's going on as a 19-year-old, as an example. It's more about providing the information, making them aware of, you know, the demands and challenges. And we do draw a lot of parallels between the performance side of it and what is to be expected of them once they go into the real world of earning a living. So, I mean, just an awareness around the tools, you know, what are the life skills and what are those tools that are associated with being part of society. And I think that's another major area, which I'm not going to talk about, but certainly living in the bubble. You know, professional sport these days has so many robust protocols and principles around what you can do, and I think Phil mentioned as well. You know, you live and die by the diary, the schedule, and then all of a sudden they transition into work, and my God, you know, what's going on? No one's telling me what to do here. I've got to actually be self-driven. I've got to own and be accountable and be responsible. So it's important those lessons are translated in some form, as I keep mentioning awareness, through we certainly do through our pathway program and academy programs, but it's an ongoing process and it should be catered for, and I'm sure it is today in most programs. You know, that we talk well-being and welfare, but certainly the key to it was leadership. I think also, just one final point, I mean, I transitioned from a pro league player to professional coaching in Australia in 1993. I was 29 going on 30. I didn't have anyone there to help me. So I had to learn on the run. And at the moment, it's as far as coach development and transitioning between playing and coaching, we do a lot of coach mentoring, obviously, and that's one of the support mechanisms we draw on our past careers, which is what effectively we're doing here today. But there's transitions in a whole scope of different areas inside pro rugby that I think we're only just starting to scrape the surface of. Very, very big area, transitioning.
Thank you, Stephen. And you towards the end there got to exactly where I was going to come to as well, which is we were talking there a lot about playing staff and athlete participation, but actually coaches are as at risk of these situations as players, of course. So you're absolutely right that yes, there's the transition from player to coach, but coaching staff have to perform and have to present and all the rest. And Phil can probably jump in better, because results-driven businesses are ruthless. Therefore, as a coach, you have to have that planning and that understanding and that capability just as much.
I think it's, you know, the taking Sam's point, Steve's point about, you know, lessons learned, making sure that, you know, people do understand that they do, you know, need to plan, and they will accrue certain, you know, skills during their playing careers, and getting them into a position where they can understand how to use those transferable skills that they grow during, you know, during rugby, and the advice they get of people they trust, etc. And it's the same in coaching, Steve, as we've discussed previously. It's, you know, the reflection piece for coaching is so important, and it's not just, you know, reflecting when you lose and reflecting when you win. It's having a really good balance in that area in order to learn the lessons and then to, you know, develop new skills moving forward. So, you know, some really good points there from playing and coaching, or playing to coaching and coaching as you go along, your coaching journey.